Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Channel, Lone Star Mopars.com. Sunday fun day, a cool 97 out here, a little after 7 p.m. Main incentive for filming stuff right now is I've got some stuff I need to showcase so I can get it to work and ruin it. That's exactly what we're going to try to do here. So I've got a hodgepodge of stuff we're going to have to go through. And this is just, honest to gosh, a hodgepodge of random stuff. So we're going to get started with something from Astro because it's alphabetical. It's their part number 1716. It's going to set you back $12.86. I'll tell you right now, as usual, I've got timestamps down below solely there for your convenience. I don't make a dime off of those links. It's just if you see it, you want to cross-reference it, shop it, buy it elsewhere, give it to some distributor, whatever. It's right there for you. What that's going to be is this little gem right here, which is going to be impossible for me to fit in the frame until now. And if you want to see it all together, you can't, because there's just not physically enough space here for me. But this is just, I've run those little blowguns for, what is it now, like a month, 5 weeks, 3 to 5 weeks, somewhere in there. They all kind of seem the same. I've got some Capri ones. I like it because you can color code them. This is technically, I know you're like, oh, that's red. It's neon orange. It's like a different neon orange than I would consider neon orange. It's not like 80s neon orange. It's not like, you know, these Ringers gloves neon orange. It's, you get the idea, right? It does look slightly more neon orange out of the packaging. It's not a bad color at all. It's just not really something I would consider neon orange. There's a look out of the plastic. It does enhance the color, in my opinion. Nothing fancy to them. They don't include the fittings or anything. And if you're thinking like, hey, why did you buy this? Well, this is very reasonably priced, especially for the length at work. We just constantly, we have like old school Milton guns. Tips get ruined, tips get lost, what have you. You just basically come in and you thread a piece of rod. And then you bend it, and we've got all kinds of crazy shapes. You do that, you know, in a machine shop sometimes. But this right here, if you're thinking like, what on earth would you need this for? Two things. Number one, you can't see it, but I'm holding this in my hand, pointed at the ground right now. If I angle the tip away from me, I've kind of got like a fan structure. I'm basically, you know, going like this, and I am, I don't know, within a foot of the ground, 6 to 12 inches or so. Why is that a big deal? I don't have to bend. That's why it's a big deal. Makes things way easier for me. Number two, and the real reason I was thinking, you know, that'd kind of be cool, is when you come in, like when you have to do, say, somebody brings me an old car and they're like, hey, you know, I want you to figure this out, and it's basically the same thing, you know, all the gaskets are trashed and they've got vacuum leaks. If you come in and you got to blow crud out, you know, like a barn find, i.e. neglected type of a build, you just come in, and instead of me having to come on with like a 4-inch tip or something, if I have this, my face isn't right there, okay? I'm not like draped over the fender leaning. I can stand, not bend, again, not hinging at the hip or anything, just stand beyond the fender well, even on a B-body Mopar, and reach in with this and blow all that junk away from there. So, and I do that outside so I don't have to sweep. But that's it. And like for 12 bucks, I don't really think I can go wrong. This might not last forever. Clearly I haven't had the other ones to form judgment, but it's kind of the same thing that you get. My favorite guns are the old school ones. They're all metal construction. But this right here, I felt like it was a go for the $12. Might stick that in the cart. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of slots there that I can't fit ratchets in, or breaker bars, so maybe we'll just throw one of those in there. Who knows? Up next, if I can find the annoying orange bag, we have this. You're like, what is that? And I had the same reaction when I opened the box. I'm like, whoa, somebody just threw their trash in here? Not quite. This isn't trash. I hope it's not trash. Haven't inspected it, obviously. This costs $4.15. It is part number VIM-SP2. And if you're thinking like, VIM, what is that? Is that like VIM tool? Yeah, that would be correct. And what this is, I've long been tempted to get. They're like half-cut stubby bits, right? Not something you'd have to use all the time, especially I've got decent bit ratchets. Well, this is ridiculous. It's like an amusement park ride that came with the $4. Oh, there it goes. So, man, you know what this reminds me of that I haven't seen in forever? The newspaper wrappers, yeah. Dating myself a little bit there, but remember you'd walk out and in the wintertime, or when they thought it was going to rain or something, or when they were still not cutting every cost possible, the newspaper came in one of these. Yeah, crazy times, right? But this little gem right here, again, you can see it's from VIM Tool. SP2 is the part number, and you can actually check it out right there. Why did I take those scissors away from the bench? I'll never know the answer to that. But we'll grab the cuttix, and we will tear open the slots. What I was getting at, though, they've got like a pretty comprehensive stubby half-cut bit set. I guess you'd call it half-cut versus stubby. Sounds more impressive. But it's essentially this. You know, it kind of gets you in a little tighter spaces. As I was saying, I actually do have a decent like bit ratchet setup and stuff, so this is one of those things, and you think, man, that takes up a ton of space. Well, think about it. This is for your quarter square drive, so it's literally here. That's possibly a little bit less. It depends on the bit ratchet. Some bit ratchets swallow the bit. Some of them hold it like halfway. So there is the possibility that this gets you a little tighter quarters. I didn't want to commit to that set. I've held off. I've never found it for a price where I thought, yep, it's worth taking a chance on, or a flyer. It's pretty spendy for what you get. And again, it could come in very handy. It's just, like I said, I'm decently equipped on that front. And I thought, you know, this would be a nice little gateway for that. So we went ahead and pulled the trigger. So coming up next, we kind of enter... yeah, we'll enter our Mayhew portion. And don't get too excited. This is kind of like Mayhew Select stuff. Sort of there, made in Taiwan, if you will. And I'm probably going to have to show you this and then open it, because it would be a total pain in the butt to open these things. But we'll get started with the simplistic stuff, all right? This one is going to be Mayhew part number. Where in the world did that go? Of course, it's on the third page, because this came in multiple sheets. I'll tell you the one knock I have on National Tool Warehouse, I don't get shipping notification, and I never know when the stuff is coming. It's just like a total crapshoot. You know, you come home and it's like, was there going to be a package? Was it stolen? You know, is it not coming for 2 weeks? I don't know. Maybe I could create an account and find out. I avoid that when possible. But this little guy right here, it's going to be part number MAY-17960OR. Set you back $5.65. And if you think, well, hey, you know, that looks pretty easy to get into, it will be. As will this one, which is part number MAY-17960BL. And you're like, hey, that sounded like this exact same part number minus that last part. Well, here's why. OR for orange, BL for blue. These are just simple pickup tools. I've had really good luck with my Ullman ones, aside from when I have to mutilate them because they get stuck in the primary tubes on headers. But these, again, I believe... Taiwan? China. Okay, well, I did not know that. I thought this would be Taiwan. But the main thing, these are just handy. Don't ask the world of stuff like this. I've got way better ones. But it's one of those things you can never really have too many. My thoughts, I'll keep this one here. This one I'll either keep here or take to work. If you're curious, they're both the same specs, 2.5 inches. They telescope to what? That's a big one. 6 1/4 to 34 1/4, so almost 3 feet. That's something like your little bargain part store counter display things. Sometimes you're like, oh, that magnet's pretty strong. And you get them, and they never quite extend this far. They usually top out around like 24 inches if you're lucky. But the other thing, I always wind up bending the shaft. Not doing anything stupid, just like actually using it, and it catches on to something, and it just bends or breaks the shaft. These are slightly better than that. Also, they're, you know, that's pretty comfortable material, and you've got a pocket clip if that means anything to you. The thing that I want to highlight here, aside from the length, is the price. $5.65 for orange, 19 cents more. You got to pay $5.84 to get the blue one. Why? I couldn't tell you. I would think the blue would sell more. Maybe the orange people view as a higher viz. I have no idea. You'd think they'd be the same price. They're not. They're pretty close. Pick your color, pick your poison. If you're rolling on a budget, go with orange. What does red cost? I don't know. Red pigment's typically more expensive, so it's kind of remains to be seen there. Sticking with orange, though, let's go ahead and do things this way. Got to flip pages here. We're going to be looking at Mayhew part number 60028. This will set you back $19.03. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of miffed when this came in because I thought I had bought a different thing. This will be fine. It does match our roll cart here, but if I come in, you can kind of see a little bit, but Catspaw, that's right. It's not screwdrivers. Don't worry, not screwdrivers. That's still on my list, though, to pick up some of the Catspaw. Those used to be pretty good. I don't know how the quality is these days, but if you're unaware, Mayhew's new line of made in the USA screwdrivers, you might have seen them as channel lock. You might see them as right. It's cool there because you've got channel lock blue, and then you've got sort of like a darker, sort of like a navy blue for right. So you got 3 color options: red, petty blue, and blue, you know, so it works well. All made in America. Black shafts, though, to each their own. But this set right here, I kind of thought I had bought like the made in America Mayhew. Essentially, if you were unaware, it would look very similar to this, but it would be like their Dominator pry bar style handle. The reason there, you can pick that set up. Yes, it's more than this. This was what, 19? That set's probably 25 to 40 depending on the vendor you get it from. But if you've got the snap-on set, I would be very, very surprised if that was not made by Mayhew. You're not spending a ton on that, probably 65-ish. But when you consider that you get the Mayhew made in America for fractions of that, it sort of comes down to how much do you like the little instinct handles and the color options. This one, though, it'll be fine. I'm not going to open this on camera because that would be stupid cumbersome. But if you're curious what these are, they're kind of spooned. If you're thinking like, man, more picks, not quite. These are spooned, right? So you've sort of got like a slight uptick and then like a 45 kick, sort of like a hockey stick. And the reason for that, they're designed for seals and O-rings. O-rings in particular, probably more relatable to people. So you would come in and you've got your threads, we'll just say a fuel injection set up, right? You pull one out and you're like, you know, that thing looks crusty. Or maybe you put it in and the customer winds up, you know, like radically changing a turbo size or something crazy, and you've got to resize, and you're like, yeah, man, I'm out of O-rings, what do I do? Something like this could be the difference in you tearing an O-ring with a traditional pick and getting it off without a sharp edge with something like this. So I will say these look decent. I'm interested to see how they feel in hand. Again, I will not make you sit through me cutting through this. Their selling points are going to be rounded tip, allowing for easy damage-free removal. Solvent-resistant handle for a comfortable and secure grip. Again, they've got 2 tips and 2 blade links. Don't use it on live circuits. This is, as Mayhew Select, made in Taiwan. So we'll set that down for a little eye candy. And we're going to get to the last Mayhew item here, which will also be something I have to open off camera. I'm kind of excited about this one, just because I've had to do a lot of stupid retrievals here recently for family members and sinks. Nothing fancy, nothing exotic, not like rescuing something from a cylinder. No. It's just like earrings and stuff going down sinks. And, what might that be, you ask? Well, it is going to be Mayhew's part number, if we can find it. And I cannot find it anywhere, which is unfortunate. Right here, 45046. $22.59 is the price. You can find the same thing for a lot more money. So that's why we kind of went this route, picked it up from National Tool Warehouse. But again, 45046 is what that says. It's a lighted pickup claw. That's right. This is a claw right here, and it's also lighted. So this is the business end with the claw. Think of the rigged carnival games. And then right here, you've sort of got the plunger. You should know how they work. Pretty simple stuff. The cool thing is this actually had a light. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm not sure how it's powered, where the battery source is, what cumbersomely small ones there'll be that we don't have. But hopefully she works out of the package. Now, the way this is going to work right here, again, you can kind of see, you pull up on this, you pull down, claws retract. It's essentially that sleeve that goes down, and then the spring steel gets drawn in or expands out as you retract it up. Reach and retrieve in confined dark areas. I cannot tell you how dark a sink drain is, like even if it's at the top. And it's one of those things, you know, where I use flashlights, and if you have to hold the flashlight and the pick, you can kind of get in some sticky situations. So this is kind of a 2-in-1 tool for me. To operate, unscrew and remove the insulator disc, so that's going to be why this isn't, I guess, running right now. I don't know if we're going to have to put that back in. We very well may have to, which is unfortunate. They do tell us here, nice, replacement battery is going to be 49055. Good luck figuring that out. Looks like it's 1.5 volt. But, yeah, this is just one of those things, whether it's for use professionally or at home. It's the claw, and it's lighted, and when you add the light to the claw, the prices ratchet up quickly. I felt like this was a good deal. Looks like it's a red anodized, not my first choice of colors, but it is what it is. I'll take it, and we will together examine this here in just a little bit. Now, the final item, which I don't know where it is in this tool haul, gonna set you back 1202. I've waited to pick this up for quite some time. I'm very, very excited about it. It comes from Mechanics Time Savers. It's green. It goes 1/8 to 5/8. It tells you what it is, hopefully. It is the friction peg socket holder, again 1/8 to 5/8, which is kind of crazy for quarter drive, but it is what it is. The pegs would drive me nuts. And, I was kind of torn on this. I want to do Ernst stuff over there, but this is the drawer where I've got the orange prototypes from MTS that I can't bring myself to not use because they sent them to me. Which, by the way, I don't think we've gotten enough traction there to actually have them produce orange, which if they would, that would be awesome. But what I do in that roll cart, we have orange for SAE and green for metric. And you're like, well, here you don't, genius. This is green for SAE. Yes, it is, and here's why. We come in there, and in that tray, I've got the orange SAE and the orange metric. And then for metric, I, of course, went green, and it was fine. Everything's golden. We have it fully populated. And I always had the Kokens just sitting there on the spring steel rails and a Ernst tray on the top, you know, like a 3-compartment one with extensions. Works fine, but I want them sorted a little bit better, right? I debated doing blue. That's what I'm always set up for. But I thought, you know, if I've had to do that, I guess I could like kind of color code that where orange friction peg is 3/8 and green friction peg is 1/4. Not what I want to do there, but it's what we're going to do for now. The biggest thing, I really want these on magnetic rails. I make custom stuff from Ernst all the time, cut it down, even cut down, well, I won't go into everything because that's a video series, but I might revert to that at some point in time. The biggest issue is the drawers in the US General are 34, or something less than that, but you cannot fit those side by side, and it's a real shame. These I can fit side by side with no issue. The 13-inch Ernst socket boss tray, it's a whole lot of real estate wasted. You know, with this, you could totally do it, maybe add extensions or something. Long story short, I think this is the route I want to go for now. So we're going to populate it. My thoughts were, if I change, I could keep this for like a Stavilla SAE set, if we ever do that. Which we totally could. Shallow, but deep, they get expensive, even in quarter drives. We'll have to see. But yeah, we'll probably populate that. We'll cut all this open. I'm going to stand in front of a fan for a little bit. And then we'll come back and kind of wrap this up with some action of all of these products in use. Alright, so I came out of that actually fairly happy, aside from hating that type of plastic, because even when you cut it easy and get a great extraction, you still get cut from the other side that you haven't done anything to. So, let's just start here with these guys, our little O-ring picks, right? The handles, I mean, they're nothing to write home about. I'd prefer a little bit more of a bulb style, right? Kind of filling my hand out a little bit better. Nothing too crazy. Now, these are not strong. You can bend these. You can probably snap the shaft with little effort. You've got to remember, okay, you bought these for seals and O-rings, not to get hose off. I don't care if it's vacuum hose. I don't care what it is. Like, that's suction. If it's old and crusty, you will bend this very fast, okay? You need to be functioning with relatively lively O-rings, okay? And you'll probably be fine. I will tell you right now, like, if orange isn't your jam, but you're like, man, this is kind of a cool little setup here for the seal removal stuff. OEM tools, I could get a set of those on Summit, same setup, pretty much probably the exact same shapes and lengths even. $13. Again, prices vary wildly depending on who you go through, but you can see there again, the big thing is you kind of want that like spoon end, right? You don't want to have something slice and dice, which It's almost like a knife edge on the ends of these. I would be very interested in having the Made in America Mayhews to compare that to. You just get so thin there. I could see that easily slicing into rubber. Maybe not all the way through, but I think you could do damage. Again, you got to think, like, if it's a lively piece of rubber or coated in oil and slippery, you've only got so much space. If you start to just, you know, rotate that 90 degrees in your hand, you could stretch it and you could easily put a slit in it, and that's a bad deal if you're trying to maintain a seal, if you will. So you've got the long ones, which tape measure should be somewhere over here. Get the old lever lock. Overall length on the tool, we're just going to ballpark it 8.5. Again, this is not scientific at all. Basically 5 inches there for the blades. Short guy will do a little bit better with this one. You're kind of looking at like 3.5, we'll say, on the handle, and for the blade, we'll call that like 2.5. So 3.5 plus 2.5, we're looking at 6 inches, right? So kind of gives you a rough idea there. Again, if you're an orange person, this is actually kind of a cool little set there, but keep in mind, Made in America Mayhew, close to double. Again, depends on your vendor. Probably well worth it there. Some people might like these handles better. I think I'd prefer the Dominator style. And then, of course, I do believe they would be the OEM behind the snap-ons, which, if you're a big fan of those, they're not outrageously priced, but kind of 5 times what you'd pay for the OEM or something like this. Double-ish what you'd pay for the Mayhew USA. So keep that in mind. These right here, they look way better. Both colors, in my opinion, look much better out of the plastic. I love the blue. I don't have any objection with the orange. The only thing I can tell you is they just... they're just not quite like the Ullmans, right? You can tell this little, if you're like, what is that stupid thing? Some point over time, you know, that evaded me until recently, this became a thing. It keeps you from drawing from the side. So it's... obviously, if you're like working with plastic or aluminum or, you know, non-ferrous metal, it's not a big deal. But if you came in, make sure that's not stainless, and you did not want to pick this up or be drawn to it, this cap kind of prevents that, and then you would be able to pick up the bolt there, right? That's sort of the whole logic of it. If you don't want it happening, you can kind of hold it back. You will need to hold it or it runs the risk of dropping down. The attraction, though, decent. Had a phone call there we had to take, but essentially I believe I was saying, you know, just kind of the attraction, pay attention to it. 2.5 pound, right? If I come in over here, you can quickly see similarities to this. Obviously, yes, the blue, the orange, I would take that over the black in both instances, but the Ullman doesn't cost much more. It's made in America. It's got the power cap, which actually holds a little better, but yeah, there's a big difference there. I'm gonna take the Ullman and set it down over here on the table. Listen close. I'm gonna take this and set it down on the table. Listen close. Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, it's pick your poison. Yes, this is visible. This will get it done. If you're looking for like a long-term forever fix, this may not be the option. But coming out, this will give you an indication here. We're at the edge of the mat, and we keep going and going and going and going, and I mean, yeah, it's decent. The shaft, obviously, again, this isn't quite the worst, but it's obviously not the best. As long as you keep what you're doing within reason, I don't think you're going to have much of an issue with these. Just be aware you do have options for a little bit more money that would be probably a longer lasting, higher quality tool there. Now, the thing I'm the happiest about isn't these government-sponsored mosquitoes biting me, but it's this thing. Okay, this turned out to not suck at all. Okay, I was very concerned about it. So the battery shenanigans, you basically spin this off. You can kind of see the part line right there. If I get that out of my view, I'll just take you all the way. Getting that insulator disc out was a pain in the butt. It's almost like a craft supply. But right there, we go down in that, you'll see the battery. You'll see a screw on this side. And if I set it back up, and start threading. I'll get this thing tightened back up because I'm very happy with how they designed this one. This could have been a really stupid deal where every time I thread that tight, and that's what I honestly thought it was going to be, take the disc out, thread this on, the light's on, and then to get the light out, you got to back this out a bunch and hope it doesn't like rest weird in your drawer or toolbox, and then it would drain the battery. You'll note when I bend this, there is no light. Okay, what happens, the way this is going to work, which is very hard to showcase here, it's closed up right now. When I pull back on this section here, or push down I should say, we have articulation of the claws. If I come in, where did that bolt go? It was here a second ago. I have no idea what I did with it. So boom, tech screw right there. Thank you. Alright, here's what's going to happen. When I start to make contact, you can see the light. Very cool. I let go, I release the tension, no press is happening, no light. Now pay attention to the claws here as I press down, the light and the claws. Okay, I can actually see what I'm doing. I need to kind of change my position, but we have a successful grab and extraction in this case. So this thing turned out to be really cool. I was afraid it would suck. This had like the highest probability of suckage. And, I'm pretty pleased with this thing. So it's very flexible. This is how it was in the packaging. Another cool thing, despite coming packed like this, it instantly went straight. So again, if you've got slots in your roll cart or a toolbox, or just, you know, like space at the back of a drawer maybe where you can set this thing down, it lays flat, it doesn't keep a stupid kink or bend in it. And most important to me, the battery it's not got the light draining the battery. It's literally going to be a deal where I have to come in, and as soon as I press this, okay, then the light starts to come on and the claw opens up. Retracted and it's out. So that was a win. What I'm going to do now is pause again, I know, and we're going to go and we're going to grab some sockets and we're going to grab a quarter drive ratchet. Good grief, got another phone call there, interrupted me again in the middle of an interruption. But, I think what we're going to do is take a look at this thing at the top that you might have forgotten we even brought in. Came in the orange paper bag, if you will, paper being plastic bag around a newspaper. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come in right here, take this, it sounds like a bee is in here, take this Stavilla ratchet. That is your profile. That is pretty tight. I have handy a Hazette bit ratchet, and we're going to scientifically do this, and you can see there is a difference there in the overall length. The Hazette kind of holds it, I'd say 3/4 or so. Again, very similar profiles here. The catch being, in this instance, the Hazette is superior the way it's holding the bit. Now, this might be stronger, but you're going to have better access there. So that's kind of a wash. It does show you an option. What I'm doing now is going to give you like more of an apples to apples comparison. How? With this, a Stavilla bit ratchet. And, this one, not quite as friendly at getting the bits into the ratchet as the Hazette. That's why I don't use it as much, but it's essentially the same profile of a ratchet, right? So same thing here, you can see contact, and the Stavilla with just the KC tool bit of thinks is not quite there. If I put these side by side, it's proving difficult to do with a bad thumb. You can kind of see the height difference there, right? Hopefully, type of a thing. It's not much, but it is noticeable. Where something like this really shines is the ability to go, you don't have to have a bit ratchet. Not everyone's going to have a bit ratchet. This gives you an option to use a standard quarter drive, which I believe most people are going to have. Also, you can come in now, if you were set up with, say, this, okay? And what does this use ask? This is an adapter. And you kind of know the drill. You would have to put that on the end of your quarter drive ratchet and then a bit, and then you get stupid long. This would be a lifesaver in that instance. Also, you can put these on spinners, just a host of other things you can do. Obviously, if there's like ratcheting type of a driver, that would be great too. But it's not the be-all, end-all if you're well equipped. But if you're rolling on a budget and you don't want to shell out for a good bit driver, those little half-cup bits could be something to keep in mind. Now, What I've done. Oh, what I've done. It was so glorious. These right here, these are good spring steel rails. There's a couple made in the USA ones that are good. These ones, Koken sources, also seem to be good, at least here initially. I have taken that, I believe it was a 10-piece set. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, I guess. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 9-piece, 3/16 to half. That's great. That's actually pretty comprehensive for quarter drive. My only thing is I would like 9/16 to be here. These MTS holders extend to 5/8, which is crazy hard to find. And then they drop down, which depending on what you do, that might be important, particularly the 1/8. So if I set this over to the side and grab these, I think I have a Rogue 9mm socket in here. This 5/32. Beautiful. This right here is going to be the tiny, the ridiculously small 1/8. Gonna set it down there. Then, if I drop over this direction, we're going to have the deep 1/8. We'll put it down. Are you ready? It's getting really close. 5/32 confirmed. It's gonna be nice to not have those rolling around in the tray anymore. I do think I used the 1/8 on something. I don't remember what it was. I know it was electronic. I don't, for the life of me, can't remember. But I was thinking like, man, that's a good thing I had that. But that's down like 3/16 to 9/16. That's going to be my bread and butter. So keep that in mind. Your mileage may vary. This is a 9mm. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with that. It must have been a purchasing error at some point on my end. 9/16 deep, check. 9/16 shallow, check. Oh yes, it just needs 5/8. That's all, and it's home free. It's a beautiful sight, a great thing to behold. And, on that front, I think this tool haul is actually done. What I want to know from you, couple of important things. This right here, not the Stavilla locking spinner, which is awesome. That guy, this half-cut bit, the stubby bit, whatever you want to call it. Do you use these? Do you have them? Do you have that VIM set? How often do you realistically use it? Are you using it because it's your only bit set, or do you frequently have to resort to it because bits standard cut like this are just too big? What's your honest real world opinion on it after having it for some time? If you've not used it, check it out, see what you think of it. Let me know if you think it's worthwhile. It's going to take a pretty good sale. I'd love to have it, but it's one of those things I think I'm going to just continue to hold out for like blowout clearance pricing type of a thing to pull the trigger on that. Like I said though, for people that prefer this style of a thing, or you've got to realize you can get cheap bit ratchets, but they oftentimes will do a terrible job because you will have to come in and use an adapter that then this is vastly different. So this will be like a third or better of the distance of the bit adapter, right? If you have a good bit ratchet, you probably spent some money on it. This is relatively affordable. You've already got your quarter drive ratchet. They are a little bit more robust. You know, there's lots of different ways of looking at it, and I think if you think, well, hey, 70, 120 bucks for a bit ratchet, not worth it to me. I'm just going to take my quarter drive spinner, my quarter drive ratchet, and get a set of these bits. That would be totally justified in my opinion. But for the people that have experienced both, I want to know your thoughts, what you prefer and why. If you've used these Catspaw magnets, let me know how they hold up for you. Similarly, anything similar that might be half the price or double the price, tell people. The Catspaw O-ring picks, seal removers, whatever you want to call them. I'm curious, if you're not using like an American-made one, how have they held up? Because again, if you use the tool properly and you don't ask too much of it, they should be more than capable of doing the job. It's just a question of, do they have too much of a knife edge? If you had like a really stiff, seal or O-ring, is it possible to bend the shaft and mangle it? If you have experience with these or any other import brand, by all means, let people know. Same thing, if you had this set or the OEM or insert X brand off the Jungle site, and it was just such garbage that you went out and you actually picked up a Snap-on set or something, or the Mayhew set, let people know why you did that and what you feel the differences are. This thing, if anyone has used this particular tool or a similar one, be sure to leave comments down below how it's held up long term for you. Of course, the Astro blowgun, I don't think we're going to have too many issues there. As weird as this color scheme is kind of like playing out against like what I had planned, it's sort of functional too, so we have that going. Is the 5/8 covered? Yeah, we'll say it is. We won't spoil it just yet, but rest assured, those two pegs ain't going to go unpopulated. So, with that said, I think that is it for this tool haul. My apologies, it was interrupted a few times, but that is life on a Sunday night, I suppose. So, with that said, anything else you want to add to the discussion, feel free down in the comment box. I'd love to have your opinions and insights, particularly first-hand feedback. But with that said, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram when I have time, all three at Lone Star Mopars. Last but not least, if you have not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. If you jump your Charger across the creek, you pull out your Mayhew lighted claw tool, you snatch the VIM Stubby bit to put on the end of your quarter drive ratchet of choice, YouTube just might notify you that we got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, once again, thanks for watching. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more action from the shop. Alright, little bonus item here for you. I actually used this a second ago and I realized something. When you come in and you kind of just do your plunger extraction, you're going to see, again, this retracts, the steel comes out. You can grab and hold. As you release, the light goes out. Now, if you just wanted the light on, check this out. I can press this, and hopefully you can kind of see there that the light comes on. So you can articulate it separately, but again, in my opinion, it just works really well. As you kind of squeeze here like a syringe, you press down and you pull up, and you kind of get like the tandem action. But wanted to highlight that before I forget to